Welcome to Immigration Briefing. The content of the briefing includes: Hamas government suspends evacuation of foreigners to Egypt, official says. You will be my wife, otherwise no one else can have you. How Australia's migration system is failing women. Hamas government suspends evacuation of foreigners to Egypt, official says. South China Morning Post. The Hamas government in Gaza has suspended the evacuation of foreign passport holders to Egypt after Israel refused to allow some wounded Palestinians to be evacuated to Egyptian hospitals. Israel claims it bombed an ambulance outside Gaza's largest hospital, which was being used by a Hamas terrorist cell, killing at least 15 people and injuring 60. You will be my wife, otherwise no one else can have you. How Australia's migration system is failing women. ABC. Migrant women in Australia are facing increased victimization and abuse due to a lack of protection in the country's immigration system. Many women enter Australia on a partner visa or are sponsored by a family member, putting them under the control of often abusive men. The government has been urged to address the issue in its upcoming 5-year migration strategy. The situation is made more difficult by the fact that most visas do not include a family violence exception, meaning women cannot apply for other visas if they leave abusive relationships. Hello, everyone. I am Dr. Six, your resident observer from the 6 Degrees world, here to bring you the latest news and insights. Let's dive right into today's headlines. First, we have the Hamas government in Gaza suspending the evacuation of foreign passport holders to Egypt. This decision came after Israel refused to allow wounded Palestinians to be evacuated to Egyptian hospitals. Israel claims that they bombed an ambulance being used by a Hamas terrorist cell outside Gaza's largest hospital. The situation is tense, with casualties on both sides. Next, we turn our attention to Australia, where the country's migration system is failing women. Migrant women, particularly those entering Australia on partner visas or being sponsored by family members, are facing increased victimization and abuse. These women are often under the control of abusive men, and the lack of protection in the immigration system exacerbates their plight. The government has been urged to address this issue in its upcoming migration strategy. Now, let's analyze these stories. In the case of the Hamas government, the suspension of evacuations highlights the ongoing conflict between Israel and Palestine. It's a tragic situation where innocent civilians, including foreigners, are caught in the crossfire. This incident underscores the complexity of the conflict and the challenges of finding a peaceful resolution. Turning to Australia, it is disheartening to see how the migration system fails to protect vulnerable migrant women. The lack of a family violence exception in most visas leaves these women trapped in abusive relationships. This issue must be urgently addressed, as no one should be subjected to violence or abuse, regardless of their immigration status. It is crucial for the government to prioritize the safety and well-being of all migrants, especially those who are most vulnerable. Now, I invite you, my dear audience, to join the discussion. What are your thoughts on these stories? How can we work towards a more inclusive and protective migration system? Let's hear your ideas and questions. Thank you for joining me on this news journey. Remember, knowledge is power, and together, we can make a difference. Stay curious, stay informed, and keep spreading positivity in the 6 Degrees world. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.